In this video, I'm going to show you how to use AI to turn your content into a blog post. I'm going to be using Chat GPT specifically for this. I literally just used this to create a talk that I just did, well, a very brief presentation, to turn it into a formatted blog post, which saved me a bunch of time with formatting, so I could just really take some of the content that I was speaking to, the notes that I had, and then have them get turned into a pretty nicely formatted blog post that read quite well. There's a couple of tools I'll be using here, but you'll be able to see them as I go through. And I'll kind of just call them out as they happen. So right now I'm using loom.com, and then I'll show you the tools as I go through. So first of all, what I did is I was creating a talk creating a presentation about how to create a sitemap. So what I did for that, now I'm using a particular presentation model called format, like the number 4 and then mat. So it's why, what, how, what if is the overall structure there, just so you can see the structure that I'm putting together. So I outlined what I was going to talk about through this format, just really my notes that I put in here. So why is it important? This is not written in a way for any other than notes for myself. It's not written in blog post format. I wrote this just as notes, again using Notion. So why it's important, what it is, what it isn't, how you go about doing this, bit of a pro tip, a couple of what ifs, and then next steps. Like now, go ahead and do this. So I took this content, and I'll do it right now. I have this prepared in another tab, but I will just take this and I will copy it. Oh, it doesn't like me copying it. Come on, fine. Copy it, and then I'm going to go to a new window with Chat GPT. You can see the URL up here if you want to go to that. And what I did is something along the lines of this. I'll try to remember exactly what it is, but show me an outline for a blog post. So it's going to come up with something. Give me a general outline. I could probably skip this step by saying, write the below content in the format of a blog post. I could probably have done that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. It shouldn't be too much longer as it goes through. I quite find it therapeutic, perhaps hypnotizing in some way to watch it actually write this down. So the next part is use the above outline to turn the below content into a blog post. And then shift enter and then just paste everything that I had there. And I'll just hit enter. Okay, so now it's going to come up with a blog post. It's going to put that into that structure that it just put together. And as it goes ahead and does this, we can, just hang out. But we can just see that it's not really formatted in a blog post. Like we're not going to have a thesis statement in the blog post. That's not going to be very reader friendly, and it's not going to be particularly SEO friendly. Just visually, it's just a bit ugly, a bit formal as well. So I'm going to ask the chat to rewrite it using headings. But I'm not going to ask it exactly like that. I'm going to say, actually, maybe rewrite it using headings so that I can copy and paste it onto my website. So I'm going to ask it to do that after it's finished doing this. There are probably some other ways, like you can also ask it to change the tone of voice. So I could say, write it like Mr. T. Rewrite this as if it's Mr. T saying it. Or maybe Dave Chappelle. Or rewrite it so it's funnier. Or rewrite it so it's serious. It would go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not going to actually do that. I just want to show you what it's like to get this done. Oh, it's finished on an or. That's interesting. Okay, so turn the above format the above content with headings so that I can add it to my blog. We'll see what happens. So now it's actually including headings, which is cool. and it'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, thesis statement, that's not amazing. But now it's having some useful headings, why you should create a sitemap. I wonder if it will rewrite to make it a bit more SEO friendly. I might explore that one if we have a wee bit of time. But we'll allow this to keep going. I'll just show you what I did last time. So create an outline for a blog post. It came back with this content. And then I said, use the outline above to create with this content. So basically the same thing I did before. And then it went ahead and did that. And I said, add headings so I can copy and paste it. And then it created this. So then I went into Grammarly because I wanted to just double check some of the grammar, really. And so I'm paying for Grammarly. Nothing else I'm paying for, maybe Loom. And I pasted my content in here. So I'll just briefly do that. This is the actual finished blog post. It's still working on that one, that's okay. So I'm going to take the content from here. I added it into get to set the goals. I'll just leave that as default. So then I can go ahead and make some of these changes for the grammar and adjust some of the text there. So the reason I feel good about this, not that you asked, but the reason I feel good about this is it's not generating AI. It's not generating content from nothing. It's generating it and rewriting it from what I've created. I'm not completely on board with the idea of generating text from scratch using AI and just telling it to create things because I think that's going to create a mass market of content that's not unique and not original thought, which will just be more what I call landfill on the internet. I would like to not be contributing to the landfill, but I'd like to be adding some value. What I see that these tools can make it more accessible for people to take the ideas that they've got and turn them into content that can be understood and read and reach the kind of people that they want to connect with. So I see it as a powerful tool to democratize the way that things can be explained and put together and ideas can be spread. I really like that idea, but I don't like the other side of that where it can just create so much content. It's just going to be an insane amount of noise on the internet, more so than what it is now. I mean, it's already pretty full on. So my 2 cents on that. But I do feel like that this is an ethical way to do it because I did produce the content in the first place. It's just shortcutting, putting that into a structure so that I can actually get it out there to people that might be able to benefit from that. So I was then able to take my content and put it into my website. I picked an image from unsplash.com. I think I might have put in sitemap or website planning or something like that. Found that image, so big thanks to unsplash.com and the photographers on there. I also added my image to my video that I shot related to this, and then the content was in here, and I could copy and paste it. I'm using WordPress, so I could copy and paste it directly from the Chat GPT. From Grammarly when I actually did a little bit of editing, which only took me about not even 10 minutes to do the editing there. Pasted it in. Now I have a blog post that I can share that I think is quite useful. So that's one of the many things that you can do with Chat GPT, which I think is super cool. I'm just going to try one more thing. Add in format the above so it's optimized for search engines. I wonder if I just left it that. We'll see what happens, but I'll leave that cliffhanger and I'll end this video, and hopefully that is useful. Would love to know what are you using with ChatGPT? Do you think it's useful? Do you think it's going to create so much more noise and annoyance on the internet? What's your take on this, and what are you using it for? Cheers.